everyone, and welcome to BCIT's Big Info session, BCIT 101. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. So before we get started, I would firstly like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Coast Salish people, which includes the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. So the agenda for this evening is as follows. From 4 p.m. to 4:50 p.m., I will be presenting information on BCIT, full-time studies programs, flexible learning programs and courses, and the admissions process. From 5 p.m. to 5:40 p.m., student success will be presenting. From 5:50 p.m. to 6:20 p.m., international services will be presenting. And then from 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m., Indigenous Initiatives will be presenting. And on a side note, this session is being recorded and will be posted on BCIT's YouTube channel within approximately 1 week. So I do hope that everyone enjoys today's Big Info sessions. Again, thank you all for joining us today. My name is Maggie Ostrovsky, and I'm a program advisor for full-time studies programs here at the British Columbia Institute of Technology. This session will provide you with valuable information regarding BCIT, the programs and courses that we offer, and our admissions process. During this session, you may use the Q&A feature you'll see either at the bottom center or on the left side of your screen. We have staff available behind the scenes to answer your questions, and we'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can. My colleague Gabriella will be responding to questions regarding full-time studies programs, and my colleague Sandra will be responding to questions regarding flexible learning programs and courses. Feel free to ask your questions in the Q&A during the presentation. However, there will also be time afterwards if there are any additional questions you may have. And please note, the Zoom Q&A feature does not function like a chat. So each time you send us a question, you'll need to state if you're a domestic or an international student and the name of the program or course that you're interested in. This will ensure that we give you the most accurate information possible. As well, do keep in mind, this Q&A feature is for more straightforward questions. So if you have multiple questions or more complex questions, we do encourage you to send us an email. So let's begin. BCIT is a unique post-secondary institute. Our programs and courses are developed through close consultation with industry and are delivered by instructors who have direct, hands-on experience in their fields. In your studies, you will gain the technical skills, real-world experience, and problem-solving abilities needed to hit the ground running in your future career. We offer more than just higher education. We're your first step towards a rewarding career, a step up to a promotion, or a change to a new profession. With over 50,000 students enrolled each year, BCIT is one of BC's largest post-secondary institutes. You can choose from more than 300 programs and take advantage of full-time or flexible learning study options. BCIT is a sound investment. So what sets BCIT apart can be summed up in 2 words: applied learning. Polytechnic institutions such as BCIT combine theoretical education with practical skills training. In short, this means students learn by doing. As well, students learn from instructors who are industry experts, and they have a chance to network with industry leaders and take on projects designed by local and international employers. Throughout this presentation, you will see images of our students gaining the real-world experience needed for their future career. If you are wondering why graduates are so successful, it is because of this practical experience they gain within BCIT's programs. And this is also one of the reasons why Amanda Gomez, seen on the latter image in this slide, chose to study civil engineering at BCIT. BCIT is located in beautiful British Columbia and operates across 5 main campuses in and around Vancouver. I'll go over each of these campus locations in more detail. So our main campus is the Burnaby campus. It is our largest campus and is home to hundreds of specialized learning spaces, including classrooms, shops, labs, simulators, broadcast studios, green roofs, energy grids, forests, and waterways. Located in the heart of Vancouver's business and tech core, the downtown campus is home to the state-of-the-art Technology, Education, and Collaboration, or Tech Hub, which is an innovative IT learning space. At this campus, we offer many of our full-time IT programs. Additionally, many flexible learning IT and business-related courses are available at the downtown campus. The BCIT Marine Campus, located in North Vancouver, is the center of training for the maritime industry in Western Canada. We offer programs in navigation, maritime engineering, seamanship, and maritime safety and security. Our state-of-the-art aerospace technology campus is located in Richmond. This campus has a 40,000 square foot hangar housing BCIT's fleet of aircraft, including light and medium helicopters. BCIT's Annacis Island campus is located in Delta. This facility is home to motive power programs that provide training for heavy mechanical trades, railway conductors, and forklift operators. BCIT delivers programs and courses to students through 6 distinct areas of study. I'm going to now go over each of these in brief. So within the area of applied and natural sciences, there are over 30 applied programs, whether it's helping remote communities switch from diesel power to clean energy, gathering and analyzing intelligence on criminal activity, or restoring damaged ecosystems. You'll learn using the latest technology so you can lead change in dozens of industries. One of the largest in Western Canada, our School of Business and Media offers more than 30 full-time and more than 90 flexible learning programs. Graduates have the knowledge and hands-on experience to tackle challenging business scenarios across many different industries. The School of Computing and Academic Studies prepares students for the future. BCIT grads are shaping the tech industry online and around the world, running the IT networks that connect us globally, protecting our privacy against cyber threats, and building the apps that we rely on every day. BCIT offers innovative degree and diploma options in the engineering area of studies in mechanical, electrical, civil, and mining engineering. Whichever field you choose, you'll be in a profession that will help unlock new energy efficiencies and develop growing, sustainable cities. Within the School of Health Sciences, we offer health education unmatched by other post-secondary institutions. As a BCIT Health Sciences student, you will learn by using simulation technology and by practicing your skills in real clinical and laboratory settings. And in our brand new state-of-the-art Health Sciences Center, students can practice simulations that replicate hospital workflows, learn at electronic health recording stations, hone their skills in the center's living laboratories, and unwind on the rooftop garden. Our last area of studies is trades, technical, and apprenticeship. We offer more trades training programs than any other school within BC. Programs include electrical, carpentry, joinery, metal fabrication, piping, sheet metal, ironworking, boilermaker, marine fitting, and welding, just to name a few. Learn more about the programs on our website and feel free to attend program-specific information sessions that we offer throughout the year. So let's talk about full-time studies programs. These generally will run Monday through Friday. Classes are typically between the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And a great feature of full-time studies is that you never need to worry about registering individually for courses. BCIT will take care of this for you each term. So once accepted, you're automatically registered into all of the courses that you need. Each term, you will take a full set of courses that have been specifically chosen to lead you towards your career goal. At BCIT, our unique cohort model and small class sizes ensure you truly connect with your peers. You will take all of your classes within the group you have been placed in. So a typical class size in a 2-year technology diploma program is about 20 to 25 students. A typical class size in a trades and technical studies program is 16 students. So working in groups of 2 to 10 students, you'll tackle group assignments and projects, just like you will when you get a job in industry. As well, our small class sizes mean you get more one-on-one attention from faculty, and you'll have a network of peers for assistance within the school and outside of school. Your cohort does truly become your family. So let's go over the program availability and how to navigate this. So a helpful spot on the website will be the program availability page. You can check here to see which programs are currently open or available for upcoming intakes by completing a search for program availability on the BCIT website, bcit.ca. This page allows individuals to pull up a list showing which programs are currently open to applications versus those that may be closed or waitlisting, especially for our trades programs, which are usually waitlist. Once you have a program in mind, you can look up that program from the search on the homepage at bcit.ca and then click on the entrance requirements section found on the left-hand side of the program webpage to view specific requirements and application timelines, which are outlined for that program. And let's go over now the admissions models. So our first type of admission model at BCIT is the first qualified or non-competitive. For programs with the non-competitive model, there are no formal application deadline dates. Applications will be accepted until the program fills. We do recommend applying early for programs with this model, as many will fill soon after applications are open. BCIT programs are not large in size, and therefore limited seats are available overall. So for example, many programs in the School of Business and Media, Applied and Natural Sciences, and some within the School of Engineering will use this non-competitive model. Second will be programs with competitive model. This application process generally require that applicants have additional courses and skills on top of the academic entrance requirements that are listed for the program. These are our programs where you'll be competing with other applicants for a seat. Our health sciences programs and some engineering programs will use this model. So for this type of application model program, we do encourage you to connect with the program advisor if you are interested in one of these programs for more details on the preferred requirements. And thirdly is our waitlist based. So most of our trades and technical programs will use this model. For these programs, applications are accepted throughout the year. These programs will have various start dates throughout the year as well. And waitlists can vary from 6 months to a year. However, for some programs, it could be shorter or longer. And now let's just go over the application steps. So step 1 will be to choose a BCIT program that interests you. So do spend some time reviewing the entrance requirements. At BCIT, the entrance requirements are program specific. Also check the application processing dates. They can differ from one program to another. It will be necessary to convert official transcripts and any additional documents that may be required into PDF files. There is information under our admissions tab on how to apply, which will assist applicants in preparing these documents. Applicants can work on filling out the application at their own pace. You can start an application and return to it at a later time. Admissions will only receive the application once payment of the application fee has been confirmed. So the application fee for domestic applicants is $90, and for international applicants, it is $154. And applications are currently being accepted online for programs starting in September 2023. So with reference to entrance requirements, on the right-hand side of this slide is an example of the entrance requirements section of the online application. There are multiple options to fulfill entrance requirements. So you may use midterm grades. The majority of our programs will allow you to apply with a midterm grade. However, please do check the entrance requirements page, as some of our competitive programs either prefer or require final grades. Your midterm grade must meet the percentage grade specified in your program's entrance requirements. A midterm grade submission form is available on our website. And of course, you can apply with final grades. If you're applying after your courses have been completed, please upload a transcript which shows your final grades. Thirdly will be grade 11 grades. So for Canadian high school applicants that do not have a midterm or final grade available, you may apply with your grade 11 final mark in the required subjects. As an example, if you will be taking English 12 in the next quarter, you can apply with your grade 11 English mark. However, the final mark for the grade 11 English course must meet the grade specified within the program's entrance requirements. And also please ensure that you upload a timetable showing proof of enrollment in the required grade 12 subjects. You're also able to apply with post-secondary grades. So if you're a post-secondary applicant, you can use your post-secondary courses to fulfill high school level entrance requirements. So for example, if your program requires physics 12 with 67%, you can apply with 67% or higher in a first year post-secondary physics course. You can also apply with international grades potentially. So if you have completed high school or post-secondary outside of Canada, you may propose your high school and or post-secondary courses to meet the entrance requirements for BCIT's programs. So please note, an international credential evaluation report is not required when applying to a program that has high school level entrance requirements. It is only required if identified on the program's entrance requirements page, and this would commonly be needed when a program requires post-secondary education. So for example, on advanced programs such as the Environmental Health Bachelor's degree. You can apply with your post-secondary or secondary official transcript or both. If your transcript is in a language other than English, please submit an official translation of the original transcript from a certified translator. Additional details regarding this can be found within the admissions information on our website. And again, to note, English courses would only be acceptable if the language of instruction is English and your high school was completed in an English-speaking country. If this is not the case, applicants would typically be required to write an assessment test or undertake upgrading courses. As part of the online application process, you will need to upload documents in order for a timely assessment to be completed. So you can download official digital transcripts, or you can convert your transcripts and documents to PDF files. Information on how to convert documents to PDF files is available on our website. For example, you can scan or take a picture of your official transcript and save them as PDF files. Please do ensure that you upload any required documents such as grade 12 timetable, a mandatory applicant questionnaire, or a BCIT midterm grade submission form to minimize any delays in application processing. So after you apply, once you're offered a seat in a program, you'll be asked to pay a commitment fee. This fee will save your seat for you. The commitment fee is applied to your tuition and is non-refundable and non-transferable. We encourage you to begin researching student loans, awards, and bursaries as early as you can and start looking into the available student services offered by BCIT. Approximately 60 days before your program begins, you will be automatically registered into your courses if you have applied to a full-time program. And around the 60-day mark is when you'll pay your first term's tuition. At this stage, we highly recommend you to prepare for your studies at BCIT. Our Learning Commons department provides great resources to help you succeed. For example, they provide online tips and tutorials on exam preparation, group work, and more. Taking the time to prepare for your studies will give you the confidence you need to succeed in your program. So as you can see from the slide here, here's some information about the average tuition fees for programs at BCIT. This slide references domestic tuition fees specifically, but international student tuition fee information can also be found on BCIT's website. Additional options can also be explored specific to financial aid and awards to support the cost of pursuing a BCIT program. So at BCIT, we offer both full-time and flexible learning study options. If you choose a full-time program, as already mentioned, you'll be automatically registered into all your courses each term. You will also be taking an intensive course load. Therefore, you need to be prepared with excellent study and time management skills. With full-time programs, you could be starting your career in 1 to 2 years. Flexible learning provides you with exactly as the name states, flexibility. You can take a single course or work towards a credential at a pace that is right for you. Some of BCIT's unique programs are only offered via flexible learning. Please note, not all full-time programs are available via flexible learning and vice versa. And if you think you may need an accommodation to take less courses in a full-time program, please do contact our Accessibility Services department. So let's talk about flexible learning a little bit more. So traditionally, flexible learning, or part-time studies as it was previously known as, was primarily geared for working professionals looking to upgrade or pivot their careers. While there are courses and programs designed for those with professional work experience, flexible learning does have the ability to serve a wider population, including high school students. So prior to embarking on a full-time program, some may wish to explore a course or courses that will allow them to determine their comfort level for that particular area of studies. With respect to accessibility, individuals 16 years or older can register. Many introductory courses and entry-level programs have open enrollment with no formal prerequisites or entrance requirements. There is an expectation that all flexible learning students have grade 12 English proficiency, but most of these programs and courses do not require proof of this. As long as you have strong reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills, you can do well. This provides an excellent opportunity for students to take post-secondary courses that are normally only available to students accepted into a competitive program at a university. Some examples are BCIT's flexible learning programming and business courses. and for exploration. People can take a course in a specific subject area to figure out if it's something that they would enjoy before committing to a full program. Take multiple courses in different domains. We've all heard of students that enroll in a university and spend an entire year only to realize they do not like their program. By taking an individual course at BCIT, a student can spend a few $100s and several months instead of thousands of dollars and a whole academic year. And regarding flexibility, most courses are held evenings, weekends, and online, so this does not conflict with typical high school class hours. It can be considered as an extracurricular. For recent high school graduates, it enables them to work full or part-time while completing courses, as students have the freedom to choose how many courses they register for at a time, depending on their own personal schedule. Academically, there is no minimum or maximum course load, and courses completed within a 3 to 5 year recency can typically be used towards BCIT's flexible learning programs. Just like full-time studies, BCIT Flexible Learning offers over 300 programs and over 1,000 part-time courses in the 6 areas of study. Most of our flexible learning instructors are industry professionals who have knowledge of the inner workings of the professional world and may have contacts within the industry and information on the markets. Having an experienced specialist teach in an academic setting equips you with the skills and necessary knowledge for the workplace. The flexible schedule allows you to start taking courses in any term, and you have the flexibility in the number of courses you wish to take in a specific term. If you wish to complete a credential, for example, a certificate in business management, you are required to complete all the courses in the program matrix to be awarded the credential. No credential will be awarded for taking single courses. To maximize program flexibility, courses are offered during the day, evenings, and/or weekends, and many courses are offered online. Scheduling of courses may differ every term. Most of the part-time class sizes will vary from 20 to 30 students, depending on the courses and the course's popularity. And as shown on this slide, there are 3 terms for flexible learning: winter, spring, summer, and fall. Many flexible learning courses simply require English 12 proficiency. It is expected that students have this minimum English proficiency to do well in their studies. If a course has a prerequisite, students are expected to complete that prerequisite before registering for the course. Currently, to register for a course and to declare a program, students are not required to submit documents. And if you're wondering what a program declaration is, I'll talk about that in a few minutes. So let's go over some of the most popular flexible learning entry-level courses that BCIT offers. Some common business courses that may be transferable to universities and could apply towards a full-time program or towards completion of a flexible learning credential at BCIT. So such courses as ORGB 1105, Organizational Behavior. This course covers the influence of people and how companies are organized or structured. Marketing 1102, which is Essentials of Marketing. Key topics in this course are product, price, place, and promotion, along with marketing strategies based on research and understanding the marketing environment and its customers. BSYS 1001 is a computer-related course that covers popular software used in business within many companies, as well as addressing technology issues and challenges faced when using these particular software programs. OPMT 1110 will address financial management applications, consumer and commercial credit, simple and compound interest, financial instruments, annuities, mortgages, loans, etc. And OPMT 1198 is an introduction to productivity and process improvement. And within the School of Broadcast, or in this area of studies, there are often courses that permit individuals to proceed towards sampling into other areas such as television and video production, radio, arts, and entertainment, as well as broadcast and online journalism. A course such as BCST 1002 has a focus on training individuals that would fulfill roles such as artists, producers, and promoters who are key to the broadcast industry. Within the Adobe Creative Cloud, there are plenty of courses that can be explored toward creative content and design, such as the courses you will find listed here on this slide. When considering computing courses, it is important to ensure that one has either completed Comp 1002, Applied Computer Concepts, or possesses the equivalent knowledge of this course, as this course is the foundation for all computing flexible learning courses. Each of the following core courses listed on this slide are introductory courses and are designed to determine your interest in different aspects of computing and IT. Within the area of engineering, there are also several subjects that could be explored to delve into the basics of, for example, drafting, to determine the interest level that someone may have in this particular area. Are you wanting to see if the railway industry appeals to you? Or what about welding? BCIT offers several flexible learning courses in these particular areas that may be of interest. There is even a railway training self-assessment available on the railway training landing page, which you can take to see if a career as a railway conductor may be the right fit for you. So if you want to start as soon as possible, your first step is to register for flexible learning courses. Registration for the upcoming winter 2023 term will open at 9 a.m. on October 26th, and registration into these courses is on a first-come, first-served basis. For tuition, the cost of a program for flexible learning will be the sum of individual courses. Student loans are only available for students enrolled in certain flexible learning programs. Again, English proficiency is expected of all students, though proof is generally not required for most programs. If you want more information, enter register in the search bar at the top of BCIT website's landing page. To complete a flexible learning program and earn a credential, students must enroll in the program by submitting a program declaration. More information is available on our Flexible Learning 101 sessions, which are typically held once or twice per year. And in fact, there will be a Flexible Learning 101 session coming up in early November. So talking about the program declarations. So if you plan to complete one of the many programs offered through Flexible Learning, you will need to formally declare your program. Declaring your program ensures that BCIT is aware of your intent to complete a program as it is currently outlined. BCIT continuously reviews programs and updates its curriculum based on industry markets and trends. So a program declaration guarantees that credit for courses which are part of your program will be honored despite potential changes that may come to the program matrix. Program declarations are accepted throughout the year for most programs. And as mentioned earlier, currently you're not required to submit any documents when declaring a program. However, some flexible learning programs do have a formal application process where you are required to meet the entrance requirements and submit additional supporting documentation. To find out which programs do have formal entrance requirements, refer to the entrance requirements for that individual program. So BCIT, we offer many different types of credentials. They are designed to complement specific education and work experience and your career goals. Most BCIT programs provide you with the unique opportunity to advance your education and upgrade your skills at an accelerated pace, getting you into your career more quickly. For example, you can start with a certificate and finish with a degree. This progressive laddering model allows you to build on your education to suit your needs one step at a time. If you're unsure of the option that is right for you, please connect with us in program advising. So we are focused on your success, and there are a number of key support services available to you if you need them. The first one I want to mention is our Student Life Office. Their mandate is to support student success and well-being throughout your student life cycle. The Student Life Office and BCIT's Student Association both apply the 8 dimensions model and provide services and resources in support of each area of this model to ensure a student's well-being. These elements include intellectual, occupational, physical, financial, psychological, environmental, spiritual, and social needs to ensure a student thrives and realizes one's goals. And there are some other important student supports that I'd like to mention. So if you are Indigenous, BCIT's Indigenous Initiatives Department is there for you to ensure a smooth transition into your first year. They offer peer-to-peer mentorship, a welcoming gathering place, and will provide clarification on Indigenous funding. I also encourage you to review BCIT's awards, scholarships, and bursaries that are listed on our financial aid and awards webpage. I would also like to mention that we do have a President's Entrance Award. Selection for this award is based on academic achievement, but also on volunteer and community service. BCIT is committed to providing assistance to students with permanent or temporary disabilities. If you have been accepted to a program and believe you may need accommodation to be successful, I do encourage you to connect with our Accessibility Services Department. BCIT Student Health Services is a health clinic located on the Burnaby campus. They provide medical care for current BCIT students year-round with a full staff of doctors and nurses. We also have a counseling and student development department, which is available to help you enhance your educational performance and to maximize your student success at BCIT. Our Recreation Services Department offers fitness classes, a fully equipped gym, and sports such as squash, tennis, basketball, and floor hockey. The Student Housing Complex is located on the Burnaby campus and is a short walk from your classes. For a virtual walkthrough of student housing, please go to their webpage. Our housing office also provides students with free access to off-campus housing accommodation listings available within the community. Off-campus housing is available to near all of our campuses. And in exciting news, students attending BCIT in the coming years will have access to environmentally friendly on-campus housing. So why do people choose BCIT? It is because of the success rate of our graduates. We help you build the real-world skills you need to get the job you want. Students learn from industry experts and train with the most advanced technology available. BCIT graduates are qualified to step right into the most in-demand jobs. Whatever path you choose, every one of our qualifications is designed to get you the job you want. So to dive deeper into learning about a program or its outcomes, please feel free to attend a program-specific information session. As well, check out the the informative videos on our YouTube channel. These are a really great source for learning about BCIT and our programs. Other ways to connect and learn more about BCIT and our community is by following us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So please don't hesitate to contact our department, Program Advising, if you have a question or are unsure of something. We are able to answer questions regarding entrance requirements, the application process, student resources, success strategies, program schedules, and many other details as well. For full-time programs, we are available to assist you via telephone, email, or by in-person or virtual drop-in sessions. Please go to our webpage, bcit.ca/advising for our most up-to-date contact information and service hours. You can also book an in-person or virtual appointment with a flexible learning advisor. And you can send specific questions via email to program_advising@bcit.ca, and we will be happy to assist you. So for all of you who have registered and attended Big Info this evening, you will have the chance to win one of 3 $1,000 tuition prizes from BCIT. Please complete the Big Info survey to enter the contest and check your email inbox on October 18th to see if you're one of the winners. If you have any questions regarding this, feel free to reach out to our BCIT events department via email at events@bcit.ca. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this presentation. You're now able to feel free to ask your questions if you have not done so already during the presentation. You can type your questions into the Q&A window, and we can also read some questions out loud and respond accordingly. So thank you so much. Sandra and Gabriella, were there any questions that you wanted to read out and we can answer live?
Hi, Maggie.
Hi.
There's a question that would be great if you can answer it. Do you offer support for students that are on the IEP?
Do you mean like employment insurance, EI?
That's probably what is the attendee is offering. I believe that is the question.
Yeah, so different, you would have to be arranged in advance. I believe that would go through the employment EI counselor or caseworker that the applicant would have. So that would be arranged ahead of time. I believe that would the person would need to connect their counselor or case manager with someone in our financial aid and our student information areas or departments, and then they could basically go from there. But yeah, I believe that is a common practice that can be arranged for sure.
Thank you, Maggie. Here's a good one for everybody to know.
Sure.
Is the nursing program at BCIT only for domestic students or also international students?
That's a really great question and a very common question. Yes, our BSN or Bachelor of Science in Nursing is only available for Canadian citizens or permanent residents of Canada. So we do not accept applications for that program from international students.
Thank you, Maggie. I'm looking through others. Give me a moment, please.
Sure. And Sandra, let us know if there's anything for the flexible learning side, and maybe you could answer that live potentially, if you'd like to.
Here is a good one.
Mhm.
Someone is interested in the Electrical Foundation program, and they're asking if there is a way to check the wait list without applying.
Yes, that's a good question. I don't believe that, I'm not sure if there's public information on that, but you can definitely contact us anytime in advising and we have access to that information. So for right now, let me just actually look it up for you. Because that one, the Electrical Foundation is offered at our Burnaby campus and then 2 of our high school location satellite campuses. So let me just check. Yes, so for the Burnaby campus location, the next estimated intake for the foundation is probably either April or June of 2023. So this coming year coming up. And then for the Langley and Surrey locations, which are our high school sister campus locations, those are going to be possibly September 2023. So those high school satellite locations only have 1 intake a year, and then the location at the Burnaby campus does have multiple intakes a year.
Thank you, Maggie. I'm looking for other ones. Give me a moment, please.
Sure, of course.
This is a good one. We live in Ontario. Do you offer on-campus tours of the campus throughout the year?
Yeah, so that's recently, I believe, and either Leon or Jessica can correct me if I'm wrong because they're from the events area, but I do believe that it's back. It was, unfortunately, tours were on hold or on hiatus for a while unfortunately due to COVID, but I believe they're back now. So let me just pull up the tour information. Yeah, so definitely looks like you can just book that on BCIT's site. So just bcit.ca, and let's see. Kind of a little bit of a long URL, so maybe I won't read that aloud, but if you just go to bcit.ca and in the upper search box, you can just type in tours and that will give you the link to the information on, actually, sorry, my colleague Jessica just put it in. It's bcit.ca/tours. So yes, you can book a tour now. They are back, which is great. You can get a tour of the Burnaby campus. Looks like it's about a 1-hour tour led by a student ambassador. So yeah, you'll get the whole meal deal, if you will, a nice tour of the campus. It's either individual, family, like a group tour is typically what you would expect. And yeah, that's looks like it's back in full swing again.
Here's another question. What is the application deadline for the forensics investigation, crime and intelligence analysis option?
So I believe that's a part-time program. Let me just look it up. And if it is a part-time, as I mentioned in my presentation, typically the applications would, yes, I'm just looking at it right now. So yes, as I suspected, applications for that program will be accepted online throughout the year. So you can really apply anytime. You would need to obviously meet the requirements, the entrance requirements for the program first. So if you go to the Forensic Investigation, Crime and Intelligence Analysis option webpage, on the left, if you click under entrance requirements, you can see firstly that it accepts applications online throughout the year. And secondly, you'll be able to view all of the individual entrance requirements. So it is something that can be applied to throughout the year. You will need to firstly do a pre-entry assessment, which is explained on the webpage there, and then just take it from there. But yeah, you can apply at any time throughout the year.
Thank you, Maggie. Here's another one. When are intakes for the CIT and the CISA program,
Okay.
and what kind of scholarships they are offered?
Okay, so CIT is a full-time two-year technology diploma program. That particular program does have 2 intakes a year, one every September and one every January. So right now, they are still rather accepting applications rather online for the January 2023 CIT intake, but that is the cutoff for that will be October 30th. So you have about just under 2 weeks remaining if you're interested in January 2023. However, there are applications being accepted for September 2023 as of October 1st. So that one, if you decided that you can't meet the requirements or you don't meet the requirements yet, you need to upgrade, you definitely can apply for instead for September 2023. And you have until April 30th, 2023 to get your application in for that intake. CISA, that particular diploma just has 1 intake a year every September. So that program, again, as of October 1st, is currently accepting applications online for September 2023. That program, unlike CIT, has, what I talked about in my presentation, a first qualified, first accepted application model. So for that one, as soon as you meet the requirements, you definitely should apply, because this program, CISA, does tend to fill rather quickly. So it is, does only accept applications until the program is full, and then they'll stop taking applications. Whereas the CIT program was a competitor, or is rather a competitive entry program. So that's the big difference. So for scholarships, that's definitely something you can get a lot of information from our financial aid and awards website. I believe it's bcit.ca/FinAid, FINAID. And you can definitely take a look at all the different scholarships and financial aid, awards, bursaries, etc., that are available. And financial aid can also be contacted directly. They have their email and phone number, and they can also be seen in person during business hours at the Burnaby campus. So if you have questions, definitely feel free to reach out to financial aid if you have questions about like scholarships, loans, any kind of funding information.
Thank you, Maggie. There's a great question here.
Mm-hmm.
What is the class schedule for full-time programs?
Oh, yeah. So I did mention that in my presentation, but it can vary. So it will depend on the particular program that you're in. So our trades programs, I would say those normally start earlier in the day, but also finish earlier. So for example, like a piping foundation program, that normally has a start time of, I think it's about 7:30 in the morning. So it does, the reason it starts early is because once you graduate and are working in a trade, trades hours are normally very early hours. So trades people tend to start early. So the program hours are 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. And that's sort of typical for a lot of our trades programs. Whereas our technology programs will usually have hours between 8:30 till about 5:30. It doesn't necessarily always go till 5:30 in the evening, but that's kind of where you should estimate the range is going to be. So yeah, you're in school usually 5 days a week for a full-time program, Monday through Friday, and pretty much a full day at school for sure.
Here's another question for international students that may be wondering the same. May I apply for campus student residence only for the first term?
I'm not sure. Yeah, so basically, I'm not sure what that question, I'm not exactly sure how to sort of pick that question apart, but basically, yeah, if you are going to be attending or you've been accepted rather to a BCIT full-time program, you definitely can apply for housing, especially, obviously, if you're out of country, you'll need to get some sort of housing either on campus or within the community. So definitely contact our housing department, because they, as mentioned in my presentation, they not only have our on-campus housing at the Burnaby campus, but it is somewhat limited in size. So but once that limit is reached, they also can definitely put you in touch with other landlords and rooms available, rooms to rent, apartments to rent, etc., that are fairly close to the Burnaby campus and with a reasonable rent. So as everyone knows, living in the Lower Mainland is extremely expensive. Rent is extremely expensive, but our housing department does really strive to keep the rent for the on-campus at a fairly fair rate, and also the community that's involved in having student housing around the BCIT Burnaby campus, and the other campuses are also going to be having pretty fair, I would say, rental rates for either a room or an apartment or whatever you decide to pursue with that. But yeah, bcit.ca/housing. I think you can actually arrange a tour with them as well if you want. There's virtual tours available on their site of the amenities and the rooms, etc., that will be having at like the Burnaby campus if you attend housing there. But yeah, that's definitely something you want to start looking into pretty early on, because there is, somewhat limited on-campus housing at our Burnaby campus.
Thank you, Maggie. Another great question for everybody to know is,
Sure.
when will I know when I get accepted into the program?
Oh, that's a really good question. So again, it would depend on your application, the program, which application model it had. So for most of our first qualified, first accepted, and first qualified, first accepted programs, those typically you get a response from usually admissions within about 1 to 2 weeks saying that they received your application. And then normally within about 4 to 5 weeks is when you would get a formalized response stating whether you have been accepted or not to the program. So they do continually assess those first qualified, first accepted programs all the time. So again, I would say within about 4 to 5 weeks from when you apply to when you get your response, if you're in or not. Then for the competitive entry programs, it would be dependent on the program's application deadline date. So again, going back to CIT, as I mentioned, for January 2023, the cutoff will be October 30th. So they'll close off the applications on October 30th. And then normally the program area and admissions will take obviously some time to assess all the applications that have come through, et cetera. I would say normally once the application window closes, you'll probably hear from admissions within about 4 weeks or so, I would say. And then for the trades programs, which are waitlist based, those they're kind of ongoing because you can apply to most of those online throughout the year. So normally admissions, once they get your application, provided that you've met all the requirements for that particular trade, they'll contact you again within several weeks and just let you know that, yep, you've met all the requirements and you're now on the wait list. And then at that time, they'll provide you with an estimated start time for that trades program.
Thank you, Maggie. Give me a moment, please.
Oh, sure, no problem. I do see, there's a lot of questions here, so
yes, there are many of them. Do flexible learning courses require students to come on campus 5 days a week?
Oh, very good question. So no, definitely not. Most of our flexible learning courses, as I mentioned in the presentation, are typically, weekends on either weekends in the evening or online. And not for most of them, but for a lot of them, you can either choose to take a course on campus in person. And normally, and Sandra can correct me if I'm wrong, she's from Flexible Learning and she's in the chat right now, but it normally would be like 1 or 2 times a week that you have the class for, let's say, a 12 to 15 week time period. So if it's, let's say, Monday, you selected a course that's Monday nights from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Monday at the Burnaby campus, you would just come to a class every Monday from 6 to 9 once a week. Usually have homework as well on top of that, but that's sort of the standard. So you definitely don't have to come to class 5 days a week. In fact, I guess most of our part-time flexible learning courses will normally be, I wouldn't say more than usually once or twice maximum per week. And again, you can choose. A lot of our flexible learning courses are offered online if you prefer that, or in person. Weekends as well, for those of you that work Monday to Friday and prefer not to be taking class in the evenings. We also offer courses typically on Saturdays as well for a lot of our courses, and online, which it can actually, for a lot of the online courses, they can be asynchronous. So what that means is your course is once a week you have to be online, but it doesn't have to be a specified time. You can be online anytime in that 1 week, as long as you get the required assignments, quizzes, et cetera, done within that week. So that's really a nice option for flexible learning, especially if someone's working full time and can't commit to, coming to a campus or, a set time in the week. We'd possibly recommend maybe an online course would be a really good option as well.
Here's another question. Do you
Mhm.
have support systems for people with autism?
Yeah, so as I mentioned in the presentation, we have a really great department, and I do apologize. I don't believe anyone from this department is going to be at the session this evening, but it's called Accessibility Services. And they have a website. Let me just go to their site. Yeah, so it's just bcit.ca/accessibility. And you can definitely contact them once you're an accepted student in either a full-time or a part-time program or flexible learning program. They can definitely assist you. So for example, if you needed in a full-time program, possibly a slightly lighter course load or additional exam time, like, let's say in a class, the teachers give the students 2 hours to write an exam. And let's say you needed 3 hours to write an exam or 4 hours, that can be arranged with our accessibility services department. So they're definitely a great resource. If you need that, they can arrange all sorts of things with your program area. Again, like exam time, potentially a lighter course load if that's needed. So there are a lot of great supports within that accessibility services. So I do definitely recommend you go on their site, bcit.ca/accessibility, to view all of the different great services that they offer. Was there anything else? I think we're close to
Yes,
potentially.
there's many others. Like I was just
There's many others, yeah.
going through questions that could apply for many people.
Yeah, it looks like we have to finish up by 4:55. So I do, yeah, well, I'll definitely I'll answer one more, Gabriella, but just to
Absolutely.
let all the attendees know, if your question, we do see there's quite a bit in the chat, which unfortunately we just won't be able to get to them all this evening. So please feel free to contact us in program advising. Again, program_advising@bcit.ca. You can definitely contact us and we will, respond to you as soon as we can, for sure. But yeah, Gabriella, go ahead with the next question.
That's okay, Maggie. Most of the questions are quite specific
Are they? Okay.
individuals. Yes. Thank you, Maggie.
Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, for attending. We really appreciate your attention and attendance in this presentation. Hope you got some great information. And thank you again so much. And hopefully we'll see you at the next session that's coming up.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to BCIT's Big Info. My name is Laura Vale, and I'm the Senior Director for Student Success here at BCIT. And I'm really excited to have you all join us this afternoon to learn more about us and what we offer at BCIT. And a quick reminder that throughout the presentations, you'll be able to ask questions through the chat function that you see on Zoom. And would just probably remind you that when asking questions, we suggest letting us know if you're either a domestic or international student, so we can ensure we're giving the correct answers. So before I dive into my presentation, I'd just like to acknowledge that BCIT campuses are located on the traditional territories of the Coast Salish people, which includes the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. And so before passing along to my colleague, I thought I would talk a little bit about the learning environment here at BCIT. At BCIT, we're committed to the success of all of our students, and it's important that students have access to all of the tools that they need for success. Our academic programming and complementary student services are here to support your well-being and development, so you can reach and hopefully even succeed all of the goals you've set out for yourself. At BCIT, we want you to thrive, not only in your professional life, but throughout your life. So in the next while, you're going to hear about some of the tools for success. I'd also like to speak very briefly to our approach to the student experience at BCIT. We all acknowledge that life exists outside of school and you might have other priorities. So it's important that all of your needs are met and you can be successful both inside and outside of the classroom. Programming provided through all of our services that you're about to hear about is approached from a holistic perspective using the 8 dimensions of well-being that are shown here on the screen to support student wellness. So whether you're looking for physical well-being, financial well-being, or anything in between, we have something to address those needs. And so with that, I'd like to introduce Siobhan O'Kelly, the Entry and Transitions Coordinator in Student Life Office, to talk a little bit more about student success at BCIT. Over to you, Siobhan.
Thanks so much, Laura. Hi, everyone. As Laura mentioned, I'm Shabana Kelly, and I work in the Student Life Office at BCIT. So I'm going to talk to you about a few of the services at BCIT, and then I'll pass it off to some other colleagues who will speak to their respective services as well. So starting with my own department, the Student Life Office, we cover a range of programming and services with such as orientation and transition. So this is our Kickstart programming at BCIT. If you're a new student, you'll go through this as you start your journey. And part of this is our online orientation course called the Student Success Hub. So this is about 6 modules that's available online through our learning platform, the Learning Hub. And students can work their way through this. There's a module on getting started at BCIT, so it'll teach you about community expectations, rights and responsibilities, the values, also like a little bit about academic integrity and what it's like to be a student in the learning environment at BCIT. But then it'll dive into other areas of your student experience, and we'll cover things like services. And then also there's a module on well-being. So getting you to assess where you're at in terms of your well-being and what kind of services or supports you might benefit from during your time at BCIT. The great thing about this is that you can access this before you start at BCIT. So once you're accepted as a student, you'll get access to this course and you can start working through the material before you have your first day of classes. And then you can also access all the information through the course during your entire time as a student. So if you forget something or if you want to go back and review some of the material, it's always available to you on the Learning Hub. We also have a team of student staff called the Student Life Ambassadors. So they're there to help create a peer connection on campus. They run events and provide social opportunities and whatnot. They also are trained on the student services at BCIT, so they can help give you more information about what sorts of resources and supports are available to you too. We have a new health and well-being promotion specialist who is part of our team now as well. So they run workshops, events, and educational initiatives to help support student well-being on campus. And finally, we have Early Assist, and this is a referral service that's run by our team of case managers. So if a student is experiencing maybe a complex situation and needs some additional supports, they can self-refer themselves through the Early Assist referral form online, or someone else can refer them for them. And then one of our case managers can reach out to that student, they'll meet, they can review what kind of supports they might benefit from and help them get access to those, and just be kind of like a point person to help support that student throughout getting access to supports and working through whatever issues they might be facing. One thing I like to mention is just that that's not an emergency service. So if something is requiring immediate assistance, that's more likely a call to 911 or whatever emergency services are needed. And it's also confidential, so it's separate from your academic record. The next service I'd like to talk about is accessibility services. So if you have a medical diagnosis that creates barriers to accessing your education or demonstrating your knowledge and ability, whether you identify as having a disability or not, you may be eligible for an academic accommodation. So to do this and to register with accessibility services, you would need to fill out a self-assessment form found on the Accessibility Services webpage. And then you would also need to submit medical documentation about your diagnosis. And once you've completed both of those items and submitted them to accessibility services, then you're able to book an appointment with a vocational rehabilitation specialist who can meet with you, go through your documentation, help determine what kinds of accommodations you might benefit from, and then can help set those accommodations up for you so that you can overcome those barriers or challenges that you're facing with your learning experience. The next service that I have is student financial aid and awards. So student financial aid and awards can help you determine the type of funding to apply for. They can help look at additional financial aid options that might be available for you. They also assist with the application process. So if you're unsure how to apply for some of the funding here, like government student aid or tuition fee deferrals or scholarships or whatnot, they can work through those steps with you. They also administer scholarships and bursaries and can provide information on repayment options for your student loans. So they really cover a range of services related to student financial aid and awards. One service that they also offer is emergency funding. So if you run out of money throughout a semester and are in need of immediate funding, they can help set that up for you as well. So to get help with any of these items, you can contact Student Financial Aid by phone and set up a virtual or in-person appointment with one of their advisors. Student Health Services is an on-campus clinic located on the Burnaby campus, and it provides confidential medical care for any current BCIT student year-round. So they are offering virtual care through phone or video appointments to all BCIT students at all BCIT campuses. To book an appointment, you can phone Student Health Services and they'll set you up with an appointment time. And then once you've booked an initial appointment, the physician or nurse who sees you will do an assessment during your phone or video appointment. And if they determine that an in-person appointment is necessary, then they'll set that up for you following a virtual appointment. One thing to note is that currently there are no drop-ins or walk-ins allowed. So you do have to start with an appointment. Some of the top reasons students visit the clinic are sexual health, mental health, injuries and wound care, immunizations and procedures. So there's a range of topics and services that they offer. And the last service that I'll talk to you about today is our counseling and student development department. So they offer free confidential counseling for all enrolled students at BCIT. This looks like one-on-one support with professional counselors. And they cover a range of concerns, including academic, personal, mental health, and career-related concerns. In addition to one-on-one support, they also run group and workshops. So an example of this is they run weekly mindfulness sessions at both the Burnaby and downtown campuses. So we know that being a student can be really stressful, and adjusting to the current global situation can also have its challenges. So an additional resource that we like to point out is that there's also a mental health at home webpage, and this offers some additional information and resources that could help as an addition to the counseling team at BCIT. So from here, I'm going to pass this on to Joan Pascal, and she's the program head for the Center for Workplace Education. So Joan, if you want to take it over.
Thanks so much, Siobhan. Hi, everybody. As Siobhan mentioned, my name is Joan Pasquale, and we represent work integrated learning here at BCIT. So you might, it's kind of a mouthful, but you might see work integrated learning on various program areas websites, or you might see it even if looking around other programs around BC in Canada. But basically what work integrated learning means is that these are opportunities for you to integrate quality work-based experiences into your academic program. So these opportunities where you can get real world practical experience using the skills that you've learned within your program. And programs like these could be anything from internships, apprenticeships, practicums, applied research, industry projects, or even co-op education. So we're at the Center for Workplace Education. What we do is we support this intersection between BCIT students and industry and try to create as many connections as possible between students and industry. One of the ways that we do that is through eJobs, which is BCIT's main job board. We have industry approaching us all the time saying they want to hire from a very specific BCIT program because of the reputation that BCIT students have, this particular program has. And they really want this job just to go to a BCIT student. So one of the ways we do that is we post these jobs on our eJobs platform, and any BCIT registered student would have access to these jobs for both things that you need during your program as well as even after graduation. Next slide, please, Siobhan. The other way that we support, and a major part what we do, is cooperative education. And you might have seen co-op education as part of different schools, and you might be familiar with it. But for those who are not, co-op education is basically a paid work term. And they're typically longer in work length. And they can range from 4 months, 6 months, or 8 months here at BCIT. It's a chance for you to get a job and work experience in a company in a role that is related to the program that you are taking. So it's a huge benefit to students because you get paid relevant work experience doing something in your industry even before you graduate. And this leads to you becoming much more competitive for jobs after graduation with this work experience now in your resume, as well as the networks that you've built during your co-op experience. Many students go on to find other jobs after graduation, and many return actually to their co-op employer after graduation as a full-time employee. Here at BCIT, we have 12 different co-op programs, and the programs are listed here. And if you look at the program pages, if any of these programs interest you, it'll let you know how co-op is integrated into your program and what the length is. Many of these programs, co-op is mandatory. So for example, if you join the automotive service technician operations, you will have to complete a co-op term before you graduate, and we will support you with getting those jobs in order to graduate. Other programs like the computing, information systems and systems technology, as well as electrical engineering technology, these programs are optional and competitive. So you would have to apply and compete to get into the co-op program, usually based on GPA. So their program pages will let you know a little bit more about how co-op is integrated into those programs. Next slide, please. So BCIT has a lot of programs, and there's only 12 co-op programs. But the really great thing I think about BCIT is that work integrated learning is built into most of the programs that we have here. So even though you're not going on a 4 to 8 month paid work experience, there's other ways that you will engage in industry in some way before you graduate from your program. And this can mean through a consulting project where you're in a team and a company comes with a problem they'd like you to solve, and you'll work with a team to come up with a solution and present it to the company. It could be through an internship, paid or unpaid, where it might be shorter in length, maybe 8 weeks or 4 weeks internship with a company during something related to your field. It could be a practicum, work terms, or even projects or applied research. So there's some really great ways to get some industry experience, to gain the confidence and to apply the skills that you've learned from your program into a real world problem and gain the networks and contacts to do that. So if you have any questions, please feel free to post them into the question and answer section, and I will definitely answer them. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Joan. So the next presenter I'm going to pass it off to is Douglas Buchanan from the Library and Learning Commons.
Yep, hello. Is someone able to switch on my camera for me? Hello, can you hear me?
I can, but I can't.
Oh, okay, there we go. You all see me now. Hello, everybody. My name is Doug, and I work with the Library and the Learning Commons, and I'm just going to talk to you for a few minutes, outline some of the services we have available for students. Now, on this first slide, under where it says peer tutoring and right away, I'm actually going to talk about that on the next slide. So I'm going to start with this service called Ask Away. Ask Away is a chat reference service online. Students can get online help with research, citations, using the library, finding materials, getting help with journal databases, troubleshooting access to library materials, and all kinds of other library topics. And then MediaWorks, that's a great digital workshop where students can create, innovate, and collaborate to turn their ideas into life. We offer a creative space, industry standard equipment, and professional guidance from our team to help you succeed. And we have MediaWorks centers at the Burnaby Library, and we also have a brand new one at the downtown campus. It's a great space. On the next column, under e-resources, so in addition to the library, we have all the traditional paper books and magazines and journals. but we have a lot of e-resources available. We have a large collection of ebook titles. Most of them are downloadable. We have streaming videos. The library subscribes to a number of streaming services in a range of subject areas. This includes business, IT, trades, and these include documentaries, news clips, and even online courses. For example, LinkedIn Learning, you get access to LinkedIn Learning through the BCIT library. They offer their own non-academic certificates that you get when you take any of their courses. In terms of e-journals and magazines, these will help you get the latest research findings to support your projects and stay current in your field. And research guides, BCIT librarians have assembled these research guides for almost every program area that will help you quickly access resources that are important to you. So that's an overview of some of the library services and resources available for you. On the next slide, I'm going to turn a bit more to the Learning Commons. Now, the Learning Commons is part of the library, but in the Learning Commons, we offer a few support programs for students. Probably our most popular and our best well-known program is peer tutoring. Peer tutors are your fellow BCIT students who have taken the courses that you're taking. They've succeeded in them. So they're there to support you in your studies, help you with ideas and strategies that help them succeed. And if you run into a problem, they'll work through a problem with you and support you in your studies, point you to resources that worked for them, that sort of thing. It's a great service. And of course, it's all free to BCIT students. We also operate a writing center. Now, two services on the slide are operated by the Writing Center, Writing Tutoring and Right Away. The difference is that with Right Away, it's a completely online service. It's an online platform where you submit a piece of writing, it gets picked up by a Right Away tutor, and then a couple of days later, you'll get feedback on your writing by email. It's a good option if you're not in a rush. Again, it's a free service. But then for students who prefer face-to-face or for somebody who needs very fast feedback, you can come and see one of our writing tutors in person and have a face-to-face session on any writing that you're doing. We also offer learning skills seminars. So what are those? Learning skills are non-course specific skills, sometimes called soft skills. For students who are struggling with things like time management, note-taking skills, reading strategies, that sort of thing, you can get faculty support and ideas that will help you in any of those areas that you're struggling with. And again, all of these services I'm talking about, they're all free. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is student employment. As I said before, our tutors are BCIT students, and we pay them for the work. So if it's something that might interest you as a prospective student in the future, we hire in the spring for tutors to start work in September. So it's a way to make a bit of money, meet people online, and help your fellow students. So that's an outline of Learning Commons and the services that we are providing. I hope that was helpful for you.
Thanks so much, Douglas. All right, so the next service we have here is student housing. BCIT has student housing on the Burnaby campus, and it consists of 7 buildings. Each of them contain 4 suites of 12 bedrooms. So basically 12 students live together in each suite, and they share laundry, bathrooms, a living room, and 2 full kitchen areas. So if you are a BCIT student and you've applied to a full-time cohort-based BCIT program or apprenticeship, then you would be eligible to apply for accommodation through BCIT student housing. So to note, though, on-campus accommodation is limited and not guaranteed. So you would have to go through an application process, and you can do that by visiting bcit.ca/housing. There'll be some forms that you fill out, and then you'll be notified before your program starts to let you know whether or not you've been accepted. An exciting new thing that's happening is the BCIT Student Housing Project. So this is a new student housing building that's being constructed, which will provide affordable, sustainable housing for more than 450 BCIT students. So when the project is complete, it will be a 12-story student housing facility with 450 beds in a studio and single unit style. And then there'll be common spaces and support areas, as well as an outdoor accessible plaza area. A neat thing about this project is that it's going to be using mass timber as the construction material, which will help ensure that this is a sustainable building, as well as being a beautiful centerpiece for the Burnaby campus. So we're all really excited to have that coming in the next few years or so. The next service that we have is recreation services. So as we mentioned in a previous slide, we know that being a student can be stressful. So taking care of your body through fitness can help reduce that stress and can really help get through the student experience. So BCIT offers a range of services through recreation services. So these include classes and activities. So some of the ones mentioned here are boxing classes, yoga classes, spin, there's a bar class, there's a gymnasium. So if you want to play drop-in sports like soccer or basketball, volleyball or badminton, you can do that through drop-in hours. There's also organized intramural sports. So you can register as an individual or as a team, and then you can meet weekly to play a specific sport that you register for. So some of them are volleyball and basketball, but there's more than that. There's also drop-in archery. The recreation services building also has squash courts and table tennis. So you can book those and play those as well. And then there's the fitness center. So this was renovated in 2016, and it features state-of-the-art exercise equipment, and it's free to all students. So you just bring your student card with you, and then you're able to access that for free. There's also change rooms in the building, and it's just a great place to visit while you're a student at BCIT. Speaking of which, I'm going to pass it off to Ty Embry, and he's our fitness and wellness coordinator, and he's going to lead you through a stretch break.
Hello, my name is Tyler Embry. I'm the fitness and wellness coordinator at Recreation Services. Siobhan just kind of gave you a little bit of a lowdown as to some of the things that we have. So we are open 96 hours a week, and all you need is your student card. And we'd be more than happy to kind of help you with anything that you are looking to do recreation wise. So speaking of, we're going to take a quick little 5-minute stretch break. So if you're sitting down, you can do this seated or you can do this standing. What you're going to do is you're going to try to sit on the edge of your chair or be nice and tall standing. And you're going to lengthen your head as tall as you can. So really shrug your shoulders down, lengthen your head up. And we're just going to try to do small circles with the head. Just go around the front and the sides. Don't go around the back. And then eventually you want to make those a little bit bigger and a little bit slower. So if you feel any pain or discomfort with any of these, obviously you should stop and not do them. These are just some light recommended stretches. We like to do stretch breaks with our students in the classroom, or they can come take one of our classes here. You're gonna hold your head off to the side, reach over to your opposite ear and just pull the head. If you can get your ear onto your shoulder, that's good. If you can't, keep practicing. And you want to hold the stretch for about 20 seconds. Take a big breath in, slowly, gently release. Drop your head to the other side, reach over to that ear, sit up nice and tall, and then try to pull your ear onto your shoulder. Good, and try to drop that shoulder. Good, another one that I like to do is interlock your fingers. You're gonna put it behind your head and then bring your elbows as close as you can and then just pull your chin down to your chest and push your head up into your hands. Again, you want to hold it for anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds. And again, if it causes you a little bit of pain or discomfort, don't do it. Good, gently release. Good, you can stand up. Do a couple of big shoulder rolls. Good, gradually getting a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. So remember, you can do these stretches anywhere in the classroom. I'm doing them in my office. You can do them in the fitness center. Good. Take one hand across. You're going to reach up. Give yourself a little bit of a hug and pull that shoulder down. You can do a little bit of a twist. Good. Shake it out. Cross the other arm. Hug it up. Drop the shoulder. Give yourself a little bit of a hug. Do a twist. Good. And then we're going to touch all 5 fingertips together. And you're just going to kind of press the fingers together. Try not to crack them. Just a little light press. Interlock the fingers. Press them out. Good. Again, don't crack. Good. And we can bring those up. And a little bit of a side to side. Good. Shake those out. Wiggle the fingers independently. Let's do a little bit of a twist. Good. And then now going into the lower body, if you have a chair, you can hang on to your chair. I'm going to use my office chair here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both hands on the chair and just try to drop the body through and just hold. Good, and you can round that up nice and slow. Good, hang on to the chair, take one leg, cross over, and then just do a little bit of a seat. All right, so from the side, looks like this. Good, and you can move it around a little bit. Good, bring it up. Shake out that leg. Let's take the other leg, cross across the knee. Good, and have a seat. Now you can hold on to something or you can just try to balance. Good. Shake out that leg. Good. Let's bring a knee up. Hold. And if you can, try to rotate that ankle. And if you need to hold on to something, you can hold onto your chair. You can hold onto your desk. Let's do the other one. Good. Give yourself a little bit of jump, a little bit of a shake. Take a big breath in, stand up nice and tall. And I'll let you guys get back to your info session. And we hope to see you at Recreation Services. Enjoy the rest of your info session.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ty.
Bye, Shiv.
Bye. Great. So that was a stretch break with Ty, and now I'm going to pass it off to Joe Boyd, and he's going to be talking to you about applied research.
Hi, my name's Joe Boyd. I'm the research liaison at BCIT, so supporting students and faculty with projects, research, entrepreneurship, sustainability. BCIT students do a lot of different types of projects in the programs. And a lot of students come to BCIT and they have some great ideas, and BCIT will help them make them real. And so we do something called the BCIT Student Innovation Challenge. What's your bright idea? We have 3 categories: applied research, entrepreneurship, and sustainability. And this is applicable to all the schools and programs. It can be a project you do in class, or it's your own personal idea. And we have good prizes. First prize in each category is $5,000. And there's also $1,500 and $500 prizes in each category. And that's cash, hopefully for you to take your idea further. We also connect with the schools, with faculty and researchers, and can bring those on board to help the students. And we work with the Student Association as well, that has an entrepreneurship service that works directly with the students. So we coordinate with the Student Association as well. Siobhan, could you give me the next slide, please? Thank you. And so this is just to give you an idea, because some people think, I can't do research. Well, BCIT, there's many ways to do research. Could be capstone projects in engineering, directed studies and business programs. There's some great projects with computing. We have some dedicated researchers at our research center that can help with the students. They employ students in the summer as research assistants. And yes, I mean, we provide as much support as we can to the students. And it will look great on your resume. It's, even if you don't take like your idea into a business, it really helps when you're looking for work, and it will really help you find a job. Thank you.
Thanks so much. So that's the end of our service presentations, but before we leave tonight, we did want to encourage you to connect with us in other ways. So if you're looking for more information, you can visit bcit.ca/experience, and you can check out some other ways of connecting with BCIT. So for example, you could attend an info session. There's a 360-degree virtual campus highlights online. You could also connect with a program advisor to go over some of the details of any programs that you might be interested in attending. And you can learn more about admissions and upgrading, or you could order a free copy of the 2022-2023 new book. And again, all of that can be found on the bcit.ca/experience webpage. And finally, as part of Big Info, by registering and attending, you can also enter to win one of 3 $1,000 tuition prizes offered by BCIT. So to complete your entry, you can submit the Big Info survey. This will be sent out tomorrow on October 18th. So be sure to check your inbox and check your spam box if it goes there by accident. And then once you've completed that, you will be entered to win one of 3 $1,000 tuition prizes. If you have any questions about this, you can reach out to events@bcit.ca. And you can also visit the bcit.ca/contest-promotions page to see the full contest rules. With that, we really thank you for joining the Student Success section at Big Info. We hope you found some useful information tonight, and want you to know that we're always here for you if you ever need anything. Thanks so much.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for joining our session, our international session today. My name is Adriana Sosa, Manager of Partnership Development at BCIT International. And I have some of my colleagues here who will introduce themselves. We will have some time in the end for questions. And today I'm going to start by talking a little bit about BCIT International and applying to BCIT as an international student. One second. Oops. As a quick overview, pre-pandemic levels of international students at BCIT, we had around 6,500 from over 110 countries. We're quickly, in 2020, the numbers went down. We are approximately around over 5,000 students, but we're quickly catching up. We have seen a significant increase in international applicants since the beginning of this year. And our international students are usually attracted to BCIT because of the applied education model, practical learning, a lot of hands-on work from day one. And obviously, because we are industry focused, they are attracted to our model and to our different models of learning. We have a full-time programs, and we have flexible learning. We offer more than 250 programs for entrance to international students. Our full-time programs, they are a little more intense, a heavier workload. Our students study full-time, and they don't work. For flexible learning, we have seen a lot of international students quite interested in this format because they are able to work part-time, as in the past, and they really enjoy adapting to life in Vancouver and having that time to explore or work on their language skills or gain some working experience as they study. One of the biggest benefits and one of the most attractive factors in choosing to study at BCIT as an international student is also the high rate of employment after graduation. On average is 95% employability, and you can see 96% of degree grads are employed within 6 months after graduation, and 90% when studying diplomas or certificates. We have a few examples of students who were, I don't know if you can see the title, but ready to work from day one at school. Amansan graduated just this summer. He already has a job. This is another student from the Philippines who was working in BC before she moved abroad. And the easiest way to apply for our flexible learning and full-time programs is online. You can find everything on our website, including step-by-step instructions, English requirements, the different grades in different exams, or ways to fulfill that requirement, and as well as tuition prices for international students. And you can always contact us if you have any questions before or during applying to BCIT. As you will see, there's different people that you will need to contact before your application, after your application, and when you're ready to travel and start your education at BCIT. So this is our contact information, which you can also find online. And I will pass it to International Student Services. Thank you.
Thank you, Adriana. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for attending our info session. At BCIT, international students have access to a great number of services, resources, and facilities. In this presentation, I'm going to highlight the services provided to international students by the International Student Center team. Our support system consists of 4 components. They are including government and institute compliance, transition and orientation, student engagement, and advocacy support. Next slide, please. So it is very important to understand immigration compliance requirements, the various types of a permit and visas that may be required, and what responsibility that international students have. So make sure to visit our permits, visas, and status page that provides a wealth of information and knowledge. It helps you to understand who needs a study permit, how to apply for or renew a study permit, what documents you may need to enter Canada, what is considered to be a full-time or part-time course load at BCIT. or whether you may be able to stay in Canada and work after your graduation. In addition, as an international student, you are responsible to maintain the appropriate valid status in Canada at all times. So be sure to attend workshops that I'm going to mention later. About medical insurance, it is also important to understand different types of medical insurance that you need when studying in Canada. We have basic medical insurance coverage, which is mandatory for all international students throughout your studies at BCIT. So you can navigate through all the information you need. Make sure to visit our medical insurance pages. During your studies, you may need a letter from BCIT for several reasons. This could be extending your study permit or your temporary resident visa. You may want to invite your family to visit Canada. You may want to apply for work or for a post-graduation work permit after you graduate. So to understand the different letters that is available for you and to verify if you meet all eligibility requirements to request a letter, you can definitely visit our international letters of verification page. Next 2 slides, please. International orientations to help our students to succeed in your studies at BCIT. We host international orientation events each term to provide an opportunity for connecting with your peers in person or virtually, which we have done throughout the pandemic. So we also have additional resources available online for you to explore at your convenience and at your own pace. The web guides and checklists provide comprehensive information, such as pre-arrival checklist, getting set up, travel to Canada, navigating Metro Vancouver, or housing guide, which seems to be more competitive these days to find a accommodation in the Greater Vancouver area. So you can definitely visit our international bcit.ca/international page, which would provide you various checklists and the resources that are available to support your study before you arrive until you graduate from BCIT. So next, in BCIT, there are many ways to engage our students. We offer international peer mentoring program to help our new students transition to life at BCIT and make meaningful social connections. So you will be connected with other new BCIT students and getting a chance to learn from a BCIT student mentor who is a continuing student in good academic standing. Mentors will be able to share their perspective and knowledge of a student life and BCIT at the Metro Vancouver area, as well as to do their best to answer questions or refer mentees to appropriate resources available at BCIT. So we also offer various info sessions. Next slide, please. Workshops and special events to international students throughout the term. As you can see, you can join our virtual social gatherings or in-person fun activities or workshops to get the updates and information you need and stay informed. These events not only provide good opportunities to connect with the BCIT community and meet other international students, whether in your program or other programs, but also acquire important information such as maintaining academic status, student permit conditions, as I mentioned earlier, career planning, work eligibility, or post-graduation work permit explained, just to name a few. Next slide, please. So International Student Center works collaboratively with various departments at BCIT through an integrated support system. We recognize that not only our international students need to meet academic requirements, but also immigration requirements. If you attended earlier sessions, you may heard about our early assist reporting system. We also have accessibility services to provide individual accommodation plan to our student in need. Our counseling service supports our students' development and well-being. In addition, BCIT Student Association's Advocacy Office offers non-judgmental support and services to BCIT students in a safe space. By working with these various departments and services to the program areas, we can offer a comprehensive solution to the unique needs of our international students. We want you to know that the International Student Center is here to support you. We provide in-person and virtual drop-in services. You can also actually reach us by phone, email, or follow us on social media. We encourage you to check out our website at bcit.ca/international for a wealth of information and available resources to support you. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you. Up next, Roger is going to present International Credential Evaluation Service. Roger.
Thank you so much, Tracy. My name is Roger Herr. I'm the manager of the International Credential Evaluation Service, and I'm here to talk to you about our service. Next slide, please. So you may be wondering what we do. So we are the provincially mandated service in British Columbia to provide international credential evaluation service to many different individuals who have studied outside of Canada. So for us, we are a part of BCIT. We are a service of BCIT. Our office is actually located in Burnaby, but the information that we provide is actually done through documents only. So individuals that will submit documents to our service, we then evaluate on different criteria, and they use it for different purposes. Right now, the majority of applications that we're processing are actually for immigration purposes, for express entry specifically, but the general side of evaluations can be done for other purposes, including employment, licensure, registration, post-secondary admission, and professional licensure. We are a founding member of the Alliance of Credential Evaluation Services of Canada. There are many different services across Canada. There's actually one in Alberta. There's 3 in Ontario, and there's also one in Quebec. And so we all make up the organization called the Alliance of Credential Evaluation Services of Canada. Next, please. So in terms of evaluation criteria, this is the things that we are looking at. First of all, we look at the authenticity of the documents. Are the documents legitimate? Were they issued by the appropriate authority? We also determine what the minimum admission requirements were for the program to be admitted. We list the duration of the program. We also give information with regards to what sort of access that credential gives, which means, for example, did the bachelor's degree lead you to get into a graduate level program? Did the graduate level program then allow you to enter a PhD program? So look at what we call the laddering of the individual credentials. And lastly, we look at the actual status of the institution with regards to its program and official status in the country. So we have 2 different types of reports in our mainstream. The general reports, actually, we have the basic evaluation and comprehensive. The main difference between these 2 reports is that the comprehensive list of and the also average for the course. The other stream is called the immigration. It's called educational financial assessment or BCA. These are our current timelines for general and immigration reports. So right now we're doing 4 weeks for basic, 7 weeks for comprehensive, and 25 weeks for an ACA. Next, please. This is our fee structure. How we charge is in relation to each individual credential. So if an individual is having a bachelor and a master evaluated, and it's for a basic, for employment purposes, for example, it would be 128 times 2. And a comprehensive is 230, A supplemental is actually a very customized report for an individual organization that has that requirement in place. And then for an ECA or evaluation for immigration, it's $200 per credential. And then for individuals that need an update to their ECA, it's $150. So our ECAs are actually valid for 5 years. This is a stipulation that was actually created by IRCC. And if 5 years lapse, then you can update your report and we can complete the report for that. Next, please. In terms of document requirements, for all general evaluations, we require original documents. Usually a full set requires a transcript or mark sheets, something that indicates the grades, the credits, and the courses, and then some sort of completion certificate, whether that is a bachelor's certificate or your certificate or diploma, whatever represents your study. And if those documents are not in English or French, they have to be translated by a certified translator. You can find a certified translator here in British Columbia by going to stibc.org, and under each language of specificity, you can look up and contact each individual translator. Usually it's charged on a per page basis. My advice to you is to go with the least expensive one because prices may vary amongst different translators. With regards to documentation also, if official documents are required, and if the organization you're applying to requires official documents, then you'll have to be contacting your school to send us those documents directly from the educational authority to our office. And once that's arranged, we can move forward with the evaluation. Next, please. So in terms of document classification, we define documents in a slightly different way to many other organizations or institutions. For us, original documents are documents that are in the possession of the individual issued by the school. So this may be your diploma that's hanging on your wall, a transcript that you have in your possession that's been issued by your school. The way we designate official documents is those same documents are being sent directly from the school and then received in our office. The integrity of information hasn't been broken. We expect those official documents, again, not to be interfered by a third party, whether it's a relative or another organization or person. They have to come direct. So oftentimes what we're doing is we're checking to see whether or not, again, the integrity of the information is intact with regards to its receipt. And the last designation is a copy. So a copy is a copy. However, we also consider a notarized copy to be a copy as well. Oftentimes a notary isn't necessarily an employee or official of the school, so they don't necessarily have the authority to notarize something as being authentic with regards to the designation of how the school defines as official or original document. They're often just affirming the authenticity of a document because they've seen a copy of it and then writing their name or putting their stamp on it. Again, that doesn't mean that they've verified the results with the school or educational authority. And this is why we don't consider notarized documents original or official. Next, please. So I'm happy to answer questions. I know there was a question earlier in the chat that I answered from an individual with regards to documents. And if individuals have questions for our service, they can go to our website and directly fill in the contact form and actually submit all their questions through there. That's probably the best way to contact us. Adriana?
Hi. I think we have one question, Roger. I have Michelle is asking, I have a West assessment. Is it valid for admission?
So with regards to other credential evaluation services, it's up to the organization or sorry, the faculty or department that's accepting the report. So if the faculty that you're applying to will accept a West report, then by all means you can submit the West report. Sorry, there's some problem with my sound.
Hi, I'm just going to read one more question. These requirements are for international students who did high school in Canada. I'm not sure which requirement you're talking about, whoever anonymous attendee who asked this. If you're referring, yes, if you mean your grades from high school? From high school, no, you don't need to. You can send them directly with your application. You can submit them. And I'm reading more questions over here. So if some of these questions are very specific, you can always email us at international@bcit.ca, because I'm reading from Pedro Silvia, who asked a question about his original documents. And do I need to send original documents for credit evaluation by mail? This seems to be, we need to know a little more details before answering this. If you can send us an email, and either Roger, Tracy, or I will answer.
Adriana and Roger, if I may, I think
Sure.
one point to take note of for students who are attempting or are looking to meet entrance requirements for BCIT's programs is it's very important for you to take note of your entrance requirements for the specific program that you're interested in. So please visit your program's webpage and take a look at the entrance requirements. If the entrance requirements is an English requirement and you have studied internationally from outside of Canada, then you will need to take an English assessment exam in order to prove your level of English. If your requirement, or at least part of your requirement, is an academic requirement, such as a math requirement, in these type of situations, unless you're applying for a program that already requires you to have a credential already completed, so these are usually the advanced credential programs, then a credential evaluation is not necessary. You will have to provide proof that you meet the basic entrance requirements, such as the basic math requirement that's required for your program. And in those cases, please submit the transcript from your high school, whatever level that is from your high school in your home country. And if that level is not in English, please make sure that it's officially translated into English so that our admissions team can do an assessment of whether you meet those requirements or not. Now, if you've, for example, taken math both at the high school level, which is what they're looking for, as well as at the university level, then in that type of a situation, it would be better for you to submit both. So, for example, at the university level, you might think, well, this is the highest level of math that I've taken. But if they're looking for calculus, and university, the highest level of math that you've taken is a higher level credential, a higher level course in trigonometry, then that may not meet the requirements. So in that type of a situation where you've taken math both in high school as well as university, it's recommended that you provide all transcripts and make sure that they're in English. I hope that answers most of the pending questions with regards to entrance requirements.
Yes, and then I'm just reading another question. Thank you, Tamina, about one of our programs. Yes, we definitely want to suggest that you look at the program website, because since we have more than 250 offer for international students, each of those programs are unique, and they also have different entrance requirements. So there's not one answer for all, but you will need to visit the program website to see what you need to apply and if you meet those requirements. Again, you can always email us if you have particular questions or unique questions to the country where you received your credentials before applying, and then we will redirect that email to the appropriate person Insight International, who will help you and answer all of your questions. How many weeks will you have to wait for an admission reply? Normally, you will receive a reply within 3 to 5 days to make sure that your application is complete.
Adriana, I don't think that's a reply. I think they're looking for how long will it take to get the admission. I believe
how long for an admission reply?
No, it's not a reply. It's like, how long will it take? I think based on competitive admission, it depends on the program, and it depends on whether they meet the requirements, and also whether or not they meet the deadline for each individual faculty. I mean, Tamina could probably provide better information.
Right. Yeah, it really depends on the program. We cannot give you an exact answer, but you will receive a reply within 2 to 5 days from our team to make sure whether we received your application or we didn't. So if you did not receive any sort of reply, it probably means you did not send. Sometimes we do have issues where students think they applied, but they didn't. So make sure you receive an answer from us. That's the very first step after you submit your application. And I'm just going to change to I'm having some issues with my computer. Apologies. Yes, so please remember that you can submit your entry to win $1,000 in tuition by submitting the Big Info survey by tomorrow.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to BCIT's Big Info Fall 2022 session with BCIT Indigenous Initiatives and Partnerships. My name is Joseph, and I'm the advisor with Indigenous Initiatives, and I'm based here at the Burnaby campus. I'd also like to welcome our two students who will speak in a second, and that's Kobe and Ethan. Everyone give a wave. I'm glad you can hear me. That wave means you guys can all hear me. Nice to see you. And we're really happy to see everyone here tonight. And Big Info is such a great event for the community to get to know BCIT and who we are at BCIT Indigenous Initiatives. Next slide. I'd like to first start by acknowledging the traditional territory of the Coast Salish people, the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh, where BCIT's main campuses reside on. We'd like to acknowledge the territories and take guidance from the nation as best we can and as respectfully as we can. When we zoom in, we're also from different territories. So feel free to put that in the chat or put those in the questions where you're coming from today. The hand, as you see on the screen, symbolizes the transfer of knowledge from one to the next. This was a design that was gifted to the department from the Squamish Nation, and it's Sinueliao, which is the passing of knowledge from one to the next. In Indigenous communities, a lot of the time you see the Indigenous elders passing knowledge from the elders to the youth or elders to the younger generation. We also like, as you'll see today, see the passing of knowledge from peer students to another student, so peer-to-peer, and connecting in on different levels as well with faculty, staff, and employee groups around campus. Next slide. The copper is also signified, or is also a symbol you'll see around campus and in the digital media areas, marketing BCIT. The copper is actually the shape of the design you see on your left, and the inside shows an eagle design, and that's done by a Tahltan artist named Alano Zerza. And for some Northwest Coast First Nations, a copper is a traditional copper shield, symbolizing wealth and power. Knowledge is power, and this copper or a copper gains value the more it changes hands and is broken down and put back together. We really like to show this breaking down and putting back together because as students at BCIT and a lot of post-secondaries, it's those stumbles or those falls or those little bit of cracking in the shield that makes us stronger. And it's when we get up from those falls or get up from those stumbles that we really are able to move forward in a really stronger and strengthened way. And again, using that community. So life can be challenging, but much like a copper, our students build strength as they gain knowledge and overcome challenges. This is why BCIT chooses the copper to symbolize the Indigenous vision. And the Indigenous vision is the BCIT Indigenous Strategic Plan, setting forward the direction of the Institute over the next years. Next slide. So who are we? Who's the team? I'm actually here sitting. I got my executive director just across from me. I'll the screen. Oh, you can. There we go. Yeah. So we are. I'll wait for the next slide. But I just wanted to show the gathering place behind me, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a sec. But if you go to the next slide, our team is our associate director Tammy Pierce, our executive director Corey Wilson. I'm not going in specific order, Corey. I'm just going off the picture. Les Dunstan, our administrative assistant, and myself, Da, the advisor. I'm not sure if I mentioned I'm Carrier and Irish descent, so I'm of mixed ancestry, and all of us are actually from different nations within the province of British Columbia. So Tammy is Shimshan and Japanese descent. Corey is Kwakwakwa from the Kwakwakwa speaking people on the northeast coast of the island, or off the northeast coast of the island, around outside of Campbell River on Quadra Island. And Celeste is Gitsan, Shimshan, and I believe she's just recognized her Haida descent as well. This picture is really important because it also shows the We Will Always Remember campaign that has been happening at BCIT. And this is something that signifies a certain week, which is that September 30th week, which used to be Orange Shirt Day. Now it's the TRC Day. But we're also signifying this to always remember, always walk with the survivors and those that did not make it through the residential school system. And, you know, this was an event that we put on. It was run throughout the Let's go to the next slide. And our elders on campus as well, looking at ways that we're connecting in with different elders around the community. So here you see Anne Prince, Elf Dumont, Candy, and Carlene Thomas from the Tsleil-Waututh Nation. We also have visiting elders, Judy, Annie, Stan, Marlene, Patricia, and Flo. So you'll see those elders around campus. And in our gathering place, you'll see them visit or drop in to support students and be able to check in with other community members. Next slide. So as much as I like to hear myself sort of rattle on, and I will continue to rattle on in a sec, I wanted to introduce our two students that are here as speakers. And we find a lot of their lived experience and now being in different levels of the BCIT school and programs is really how the Big Info, our experiences of the Big Info crowds online and in person really get a lot out of their stories and experiences. So if you go to the next slide, I'd like to first introduce Kobe. So Kobe Smith is from Haisla Nation. He's in the broadcast and online journalism program within the BCIT School of Business and Media. And Kobe, first, if you want to introduce yourself, and I did send some questions, but go with the flow. Maybe if you want to introduce yourself and then start off with what was your journey to BCIT like, and then I can help out from there or just go for it.
Sure. Thank you, Todd. I'm Kobe Smith. As mentioned, I'm from the Haisla Nation. I'm currently in my second year in broadcast and online journalism. A little bit about me, about my journey to BCIT. is that it was a little bit difficult, but I weathered through the storm and I made it. My journey here, my first attempt to broadcast online journalism, I was unsuccessful, but I did not give up. I went to work at the LNG site and save money for school. And when the time came up again, I applied again and I got accepted into BCIT. So that's what I encourage, is that never give up on your dreams. You always chase your dreams. The sky's the limit, no matter what. I chose BCIT because 95% from my program are successful into jobs. I really like my program as it's really welcoming, and it's really welcoming there. And I chose broadcast as my industry because I love sports and I have a great voice for it. How I see how Indigenous people are represented in the program is that they bring Indigenous guest speakers in. That's one thing, to tell their story and to educate people about their story, like residential school and stuff. So that's how I see that Indigenous people are represented, and they encourage people to go check out the gathering place here on campus. And my favorite thing about BCIT is the gathering place, because it really feels home away from home. And I feel that Za, Tammy, missing missing two names here, Celeste and
Corey.
Corey, yes, Corey, right. I feel like that they're my second family away from here in Vancouver. So I would just like to never give up on your dreams. Just chase them. Sure, there's going to be people out there going to tell you, you can't do this, you can't do that. But you know what? Use that as motivation to say, yes, I can do it. That's what I did. So thank you, Za, for inviting me here today. And I hope that y'all have a, thanks, Za.
Thank you, Colby. Just wanted to ask a little bit about, because you come straight down from Haisla Nation into Vancouver and you're in housing, how did you find that transition?
The first year was tough because it was my first time being away from home. But I found friends and I have family down here that I could connect with. So that's what made me feel a bit more comfortable. And I've connected with Yuza and the gathering place. So.
And I know within your own Indigenous sharing that you've had at the gathering place and in recent events, you have a strong tie with your family and the sharing that you do culturally. Is there anything you want to share about that? Just how you can share, how you shared your culture on campus?
Sure. So we sing traditional songs and so I just recently composed a song to honor our hereditary chiefs, and I sang it once at T.N. Bannock at September 28th, and that was my first time actually performing it in front of people. And then I also just performed it Friday on the 14th at the harvesting day. So I'm very grateful that I'm allowed to share my traditional ways here.
Thank you so much, Colby. And we're really lucky to have you. And it's really cool to see how broadcast journalism is really moved along with you and taken all of your insights into all of your filming and the stories. And it's great to have you come by and always ask us questions around Indigenous people. So thank you, Kobe.
Thanks for having me.
And next I'd like to, this is the best. This is Ethan's personal preference for pictures. This is my favorite. And Ethan Bilcock is from Métis Nation. He's in the Computer Information Systems Administration program, or CISA, within BCIT School of Energy. And Ethan frequents our gathering place that you see behind me. Well, both Kobe and Ethan do, but Ethan is pretty much at the gathering place each day. And yeah, it's really great to have you say a few words, Ethan. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, well, I have to comment about the photo. It was like the only, oh, can you hear me? Oh, you can hear me, right? Okay. That photo was the only good photo of just my head that I had on me. It is a terrible photo. But about me, about my journey to BCIT, I'm still quite young. Like I only turned 19 this year, so I'm straight out of high school. The way I got into BCIT from that, though, is from where I'm from, West Kelowna. BCIT was offering what's called a dual credit program. Dual credit is basically a college university course that you take while still in high school, and you get credits for both. BCIT was offering one for the program I'm in now, and I saw an opportunity, might as well. And from that, I just I continued on to taking the program, continuing the program here at BCIT in Vancouver. It's currently my second year, and it's extraordinarily difficult at times. The first year was a lot of sleepless nights of studying. Why I chose BCIT, I wanted to experience living on my own, to just as if I decided to take something at UBC O or UB, I can't remember. There's a UBC in Kelowna, I can't remember its exact name, and Okanagan College, as I'd be living with my parents most likely, and I wouldn't get to experience that feeling of living on my own for the first time. And just like Kobe, I'm also in housing here, so it's a fun experience. Something I like about my program, I'm a big computer nerd. I have sitting actually right next to me here. I'm on my laptop, but I have my own desktop that I built right next to me. I just love computers. That all started mostly with just getting really into video games. I have a massive collection just up there. And the program also offered just advanced learning with a pretty decently lowish entry requirements. Yeah. And I kind of explained why I chose my field of study, just the learning about how we cover a lot of things in CISA. We cover like the backbone of networks. So like how you get internet, how a company gets access to the internet, how different networks can be different from each other. How I see Indigenous people in my field. From just my course alone, there are not that many Indigenous people. From my professors, though, most of them have worked in the field. And one of my professors in my first year, Jing Jing, if you ever take my course, you will probably get her in your first year. She has a ton of stories of working like in with like a lot of Indigenous communities and like setting up their networks, going in the middle of nowhere and working with those communities so they have internet. I have terrible memory. I can't remember any of the stories she said. I just know is she said she loved the experience working with Indigenous communities. So there's a lot of work to work with your community once you're done the CISA. how do I find myself as an Indigenous person? My history of discovering I was Indigenous was around when I was 10 or 11, through some looking at our ancestry. My father, as that's the side where I get it from, discovered that him and I were both Métis. Because I was only 10 or 11 at the time. I kind of just forgot about it, which is a really funny thing to forget about. But later on in high school, I started connecting with that community a bit more. And through that, I also, as a result, got funding for my course. The Métis Nation, if you are Métis, can also help you fund you to get into your course. And coming to BCIT has helped me connect with my Indigenous background more and understand everything better. And that's what I absolutely love about BCIT. Like, my favorite thing here is the Indigenous community, being able to connect with my ancestors more than I ever have before, learning more of the history. I think that's everything I have to say.
Amazing, Ethan, and it's pretty cool to see, just from our staff perspective, you know, Celeste, myself, Tammy, Corey, just to see all that growth that happened as in you as a student, of course, making it to the second year, but also like as a human being, as an Indigenous person, and just sharing that very openly. You know, today, of course, you're being televised, but just in general in the day-to-day. So just want to, you're a great role model for other students. And it's also great to see how you're on that pathway of discovery as well with your ancestry and sharing that with others.
Yeah, I love talking about, like, I have some knowledge about my ancestors' background, like actually asking my dad some more questions about it. The way my Métis ancestors like go all the way back to the mid to late 1700s, and I thought it wasn't even that long ago. And I absolutely love knowing I have that connection to Canada and the Indigenous community that long ago.
Thank you, Ethan, and thank you both for taking the time and coming on to the big info session. And we're just going to carry along. If you have any more comments as we go along and sort of finish off we're quickly running out of time here. It's crazy how time flies, but if you have any more comments, please add in. If you go to the next slide, the gathering place is really a space just for that as a home away from home, as Kobe has mentioned. It's a place to frequent and stop by and get to know community, as Ethan mentioned. And there's different events and activities that happen at the center. If you go to the next. There's events around campus as well, and Indigenous Student Champions, which are Indigenous mentors. This is actually this year at the. This is where I catch Kobe in a kind of a action shot, just to balance things.
That's the day you got stung by a bee.
And there's activities around campus. This is actually a sign up for the Indigenous Culture Club, which is a student association-led cultural space for Indigenous students to get involved and run events. This was a club's day to promote that, and this is on the Burnaby campus. Go to the next one. As I was sharing just around events within the center, this is a participant. You'll see some stuff in the background as well, but the drum that she's actually a faculty member. She's holding a drum that was made in the center. And a lot of these drums and other workshops are made through the Indigenous Wellness Breaks, which are held on campus. Looks like we have like a pumpkin holder session coming up and other things. So it's a little bit of wellness to be able to take your mind off the intensity of studies at BCIT, get to know different cultures and ways of knowing and being, and be able to share that in a safe environment on campus. In the background, you also see a cedar hat. That was one of the sessions as well, making a cedar hat and being able to go through that process with different community members. You go to the next. Yeah, and just sort of rounding it out really on a high level of looking at how we're walking towards reconciliation. Really, it's based on truth as the foundation. Indigenization, or bringing Indigenous knowledge into BCIT, and bringing the knowledge of Kobe and Ethan, bringing their knowledge to inform best practices at BCIT is part of indigenization, and that is the action. And reconciliation is really the goal, right? And these are things we're walking towards as a community at BCIT. And that also includes non-Indigenous people. So if there's non-Indigenous people on this Zoom, we have open arms. Our center is open arms. You'll find a lot of our students bring in cohorts of non-Indigenous students as well. And there's also lots of questions coming from different programs. So always feel that you can come into our center and always feel that you're welcome. The next one. Yeah, and a huge thank you from the three of us, and also Corey and Tammy and Celeste. And I just wanted to see if they reach out and see if there's any questions that anyone might have, and if not, we can go from there. No, it's getting towards the end, or it is the end of the session. But is there any questions that come up, or is there anything else that either of you would like to share? So one thing I'll add, just as we kind of roll into the end here, is Indigenous funding and Indigenous process for applications into BCIT is a question we got a lot, and that usually involves a nation or Indigenous organization, and contacting those groups for funding applications, and then once those are approved, getting those into BCIT. That's something our department can help with and has lots of experience with. If you're looking for different sources of funding, those are questions we also answer. There's things like the School of Computing Entrance Award, bursaries, scholarships. We have a normal Rose Point Student Success Grant, an emergency fund. There's lots of different support on campus. So if you have questions around that, please feel free to reach out. And I think we're on to the last slide, which is don't forget to enter to win 1,000 in tuition. I'm not sure if current students can enter this, but we will find out if you do. But joking, sort of. By registering and attending BCIT Big Info, you have a chance to win one of 3 $1,000 tuition prizes from BCIT. Complete your entry by submitting the Big Info survey. Check your inbox on October 18th. So yeah, there's the different details. But if we can all, I think we're just all very happy to have everyone here, and please feel free to reach out. Over the next year, you'll see these students around, moving forward even a little bit longer. But please reach out to our department and connect in with Indigenous Initiatives. And thank you for attending.